Hey, everybody, welcome. It's Dr. Taylor Takes 10, and I am ridiculously excited. If you don't recognize her, maybe the pin pointed out, this is the Judith Ursitti. And Judith, I cannot thank you enough for being here. It's an unbelievable honor.
Oh, it's so good to be with you, Rachel, to share this positive energy, share information. I love it. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you, Judith. Everybody, we are talking about the Director of State Governmental Affairs for Autism Speaks. More importantly, Jack and Amy's mom. Well, yeah, that is more importantly. The
Yeah.
marathon, though. I mean, like, I don't know, 10 marathons? I'm not going to diminish two children, but I don't think I could do 10 marathons. Okay.
It might not be pretty, but you could do it.
I could try. I could try. I was saying to you earlier, Judith, I think of you as all Massachusetts, probably because my whole husband's family's from there, but you are a Texan girl through and through, right?
Just sixth generation Texan, so proud of that. No matter where I live, I'm always a Texan. I say I went from Austin to Boston, two beautiful
I love
cities.
it. And I didn't mention to you earlier when I was the director of research for CARD, I was actually involved in opening the Austin office. So I had
Great.
been there. Yeah. So I did all the initial travel, and it's just such a great city, but that was the extent of my Texas experience. I understand that Austin, I might have been more comfortable being a SoCal girl there than other places in Texas. Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, listen, Judith, as I always explain to the audience, guys, please, I'm not going to do a long intro here. It's supposed to be a casual 10-minute conversation. So please, though, go to the description. Of course, we always want to support an incredible organization like Autism Speaks, but we'll include some other links for everyone to go to. And why did I invite Judith today? Besides the obvious reasons, as we were doing these casual conversations and wanting to make sure that parents and practitioners and academics and everyone who is involved in supporting individuals right now, more often than not, individuals with neurodevelopmental disorders, that we're all going through a lot, and fortunately there's a ton of amazing resources that are coming out, but we were looking specifically to say what is a side that maybe isn't getting represented right now. And I thought, well, I know some pretty amazing people that themselves are play multiple roles in this right now. So I thought I'd love to have some conversations. And boy, Judith, do you meet that criteria? So I don't have a particular question other than, do you mind just sharing your story right now of what this whole process has been like for you?
Oh.
And again, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Rachel. And like the rest of the world, this is something I never planned for, never anticipated. And I will say from the beginning that we're okay, which I'm so grateful to be able to say. We are okay. We're several weeks into the pandemic. I have a son, Jack, who has autism. He has a severe intellectual disability and some other diagnoses too. He is 16. His hair has been growing exponentially during this crisis, and it's shaggy and curly, and he looks amazing. But coming into this, I remember I posted on Facebook the first week that his school closed. He goes to an amazing program for kids with needs like his. And I just posted and said, I'm so worried. I'm so worried. For families who have loved ones who have challenging behaviors, who have, lots of restrictive activities and rituals and routines and self-injurious behaviors, being quarantined is just a nightmare thought. So
Did
I
you?
was I was so worried. You know what? We have been so careful with making sure every day he has a schedule that he can really point to. Sometimes it's so basic, it's like, okay, we're going to eat breakfast. Then we're going to go for a 3 mile run with mom. Oh, shoot. We're going to go for Siri thought I was talking to her.
Hey, it's a conversation. I like that. I like that.
Siri. Um, we go for runs together. We'll run like 3 miles, and it's very challenging for him because he's a 16-year-old stud, and
Yeah.
I'm a 53-year-old
Stud.
old lady.
Stud, but okay.
So his pace is a little bit faster than mine, but he does like a run walk thing.
That's
While
nice. Oh, good. Yeah, mom can keep up. Mom can keep
uh,
up. Judith,
but just,
it's
those things, with having those routines that involve him knowing the basic things we're going to be doing, and behaviorally having that plan is so good. But then also to just the basics of eating at certain times, sweating, exercising, taking a shower, getting dressed, all the things that as human beings make us feel better when
Yes.
we're stuck in these situations.
I
He's
couldn't agree with you more, and it's so interesting. Anyone who's been following what Kaba and myself and the team have been putting out to try and help people, for the record, Judith and I did not talk about this, all right? So the very first thing that I did for our team, the BCBAs, when we were when probably around the same time, actually, I remember your post, is I jumped right in and I had to put together a video for our team to watch. And I said, look, we don't know what's going to happen in these next few weeks. I'm anticipating that we're going to have to change some format of how we're delivering our services. And I spent a good amount of time just kind of saying to them, it might be telehealth. I had no idea. It was, I think, March 18th. So interesting that I know the date, something around then, but not even that. But anyway, the very first one, I gave the context, but then I thought, you know what? I'm not going to talk at you guys. I'm just going to go to the first tip and I'll give you tips each time. What did I spend the entire first one on? Activity schedules and schedules. And I love how you just said it, because I said, look, this needs to move beyond any notion that you had if you work with young children diagnosed with autism, that an activity schedule is like a picture of blocks and a snack and a, why is everyone right now online ourselves showing what we're doing and scheduling our days? Because that works. It gives clear markers. It helps us define our behavior. So it's just, of course, as a mom and as a lawyer, and as a executive and everything, that you're like, all right, we're going to do this, but it's important. And I think other families need to hear that message, especially this far into it, because I think some people probably did it initially, and then as it's continued and we're all just now facing like the second way to get away from it, right? So anyway, I just
Yeah.
thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, and it does sound so basic, but it really has given him peace through this, because this is so unfamiliar and so unsettling for him. To know what's coming next really helps. And the other thing too, it's forced us to do things we never thought Jack could do, which sometimes we parents really need that push. And so doing things online, that's not anything we ever thought Jack would engage in. But he is. He's doing sessions. He's up now to like 6 sessions a week online on Zoom with his ABA team. And they've been amazing in being able to connect with him, actually run programs,
Oh, I love hearing.
basic maintenance kind of stuff. But Jack doesn't watch television. He doesn't watch videos. He doesn't like screens. So the fact that his program has been so reinforcing that he's engaging in that, I can't believe it. If you had told me, a few months ago that this would happen during this pandemic, I would have said, no, he's going to have a behavioral crisis. He's going to have self-injurious behaviors. It's going to be a nightmare for our family. But it's not fun.
No, of course not. No, I know. And I'm just stopping myself because as an ABA dork, and I am, you just said so much. So let me just do it real quick, just for everyone listening. I know you all caught that, guys, but for the practitioners, let's stop and think about what was just said. So when you say it doesn't like screens, doesn't like, right there, I know there's so many, whoa, that's hard, right? Why is that hard? Obviously, it could be a good thing not to like screens, right?
Okay.
Which would decrease screen time.
Yeah.
Why is it hard with someone like Jack as a practitioner listening is we immediately think in terms of, appropriate leisure skills, right? So anyone who doesn't know you or your child's program or what you've worked on all these years, immediately every practitioner just went, oh, that took out a big opportunity for leisure skills. And then for you to follow up and say, having the screen involve faces that I'm assuming they're familiar team members. And
yes,
this is a good dork moment. I am not going to, we have to start to wrap up soon, but everyone run with that one, guys, because what Judith Ursitti from Autism Speaks just encouraged us to do is consider, pandemic or not, outside of this, how can we adjust things to possibly make things that weren't valuable before valuable now? And what you just described opens up so many new opportunities for him moving forward. I'm thrilled that it's providing, although you did have that parent moment. It's kind of maintenance stuff right now. It's just me, I know, but it's wonderful. So thank you, Judith. That's huge.
Yeah, to see him light up, really, it's not an exaggeration, to light up when he's directed to look at someone on the screen that he's missing, that's part of his life that he can't really see right now. That was just the thing he needed. So for me, I'm selfish too, because it's interesting. I've been traveling doing state government affairs for Autism Speaks with Lori Unum and others, Mike Wasmer, for the last 10 plus years. I
Yeah.
travel all over the country. And whenever I'm traveling, Jack will not FaceTime with me. Um, 'cause
I'm
I'm
such
not,
a, I know, but no, I know, but that wasn't just the sad, but see, this is where I'm the dorky scientist that looks to the future. So it was the moment of, oh no, he doesn't FaceTime. And now, yay, I know where you're
well,
going.
we'll see. We'll see if I'm
We
reinforcing
can do
enough.
it. We can do
But
it.
I have a glimmer of hope. I have a glimmer of hope. So, we're trudging through. It has been hard, but again, like, he is wearing a surgical mask. He's doing things that I never thought he could do. And I'm willing to say that. I hate to sound like Debbie Downer of a mom, but I really would never think, oh, he would wear a mask, or oh,
That's
he'll
not,
be willing to stay home for 7 weeks. But
that's
he's
not Debbie
willing.
Downer. That's the
Yeah,
product of watching a lifetime of a lot of work to
yeah,
establish a lot of work, right? So
yeah.
I don't look at that as Debbie Downer at all. And it's, this is the one theme that seems to be coming up in terms of, a silver lining, whatever, whatever we want to call it, is just this. And no one wants to say it because we all would prefer that this wasn't going on. So it's hard to acknowledge a silver lining,
Mhm.
but you did it amazingly. And like the notion that going through this kind of crisis is going to possibly increase his quality of life moving forward in a way that we would not have identified otherwise is phenomenal. So you got a lot of people that are going to
Yes,
be you there. So
yeah, I kind of think of it as we were pushed off the cliff, and the parachute deployed. Like, and we didn't even know the parachute was there, but it did. And so we're drifting down, and Jack is doing all these things I never thought he would be able to do because of all the work, as you said, that's going on
I
before.
love it. And thank you. I wanted you to spend this much time as a mom because I had mentioned to Judith earlier that I was hoping that a lot of the stuff that Kava puts out is really for the practitioners. And I was hoping that moments like this, they could hear another parent. So I appreciate that. As we have to start to wrap up a bit, I know people will not forgive me if I don't ask about Autism Speaks. And it's funny when you said that, I almost interjected a parachute with a giant blue puzzle piece on it, right? So if you don't mind, tell me a little bit about what you guys
Yeah.
are going through or projecting, or just what you think the most important things are for the viewers to know is going on right now.
So it's interesting. It's forced me to, as an advocate, to do things that I never thought I could do. And so we're interacting via Zoom all over the country, doing webinars and meetings with stakeholders. We have weekly meetings with people in different states to hear what they're going through. And then we advocate around that. So we've been advocating around special education, healthcare, telehealth, home and community based services. I told Jack's story, and it sounds rather simplistic, but we want to make sure that wherever people live, if they live in Boston or Austin, or if they're in LA, or if they're in Omaha, Nebraska, they can access these kind of supports. They
Mhm.
might not be perfectly delivered because of the limitations around us, but if we can have that parachute that helps us drift down off of this horrendous cliff, we'll all be okay. So those efforts are ongoing. If you go to autismspeaks.org and then look at the advocacy tab, that's the best tab on the website
Oh,
right now.
good. I've never heard the best. I need to know that because I click around a lot. All right, the advocacy
Go to
tab, the best tab.
advocacy, and you'll see, you can watch the webinars that we've done. You can find out more information about what our federal and state teams are doing, to make sure that people can get through this really difficult time, and then start thinking about what do we do when we land, you know? Um,
I love the analogy. I haven't had the parachute one, and especially the part about what do we do when we land. And
mhm.
uh, obviously, it would be absurd for me to to even try to explain in a less than a minute here that the appreciation that practitioners and families have for everything Autism Speaks has done, and the your tenure there and your continued focus and efforts as an advocate and as a mom and as just an amazing woman, and your vision of realizing that we need to look at both how to release the parachute. Because I know you well enough, you'll be looking at the future that way, but then also what happens when we land. And I look forward to interacting with you more to try to do everything that we
Look
can
forward to do.
to support a smooth landing, right? So, well, Judith, thank you. Is there any one last thing you want to say as we say goodbye to everybody?
Just thank all of you practitioners, for doing all the work you do to create situations, that are successful like Jack's. And to the families, I just encourage you to go easy on yourselves. Practice self-care as much as you're able to, but go easy on yourselves. Try to sleep, try to eat, try to make your bed every day and get dressed. This is not forever. And Autism Speaks is here for you. I'm here for you.
I love it. And yeah, I could have ended it better. One of my consistent taglines, which I never thought I'd have a tagline, but has been we have to be taking care of ourselves, because if we're not taking care of ourselves, we certainly can't help others. And there's so many people that need us. So thank you to you. Thank you to Jack's team, by the way. So I don't know them.
Oh,
Maybe I know a few of
yeah.
them. Do me a favor, tell them that I gave them a shout out. And
Shout out to the Neshoba Learning Group, have to say
there you go.
it.
Good job. Thank you. All right, good. All right. Well, thank you again, Judith. And goodbye, everybody. Hang in there. We
All right,
appreciate
thanks
you taking the
everybody.
time. Bye.